So our next comment is actually from you, Richard. And all it says is Sex Pistols, Sex Pistols, Sex Pistols. And,
that's bloody right.
And as we talked about this, the funny thing is on my original list, I actually had The Clash and The Cure, and I couldn't decide which of the two to bring. But without the Sex Pistols, you don't have either one of them.
Exactly.
So tell us why you think the Sex Pistols need to be on this list, and then tell us where you would put them.
Okay, well, the Sex Pistols, in my opinion, there's only been 4 great influential bands in the entire history of rock and roll. And of course, that's the Beatles, Velvet Underground, Sex Pistols, and you can argue U2. The Beatles talked about starting a revolution. Velvet Underground sang about a revolution. The Sex Pistols actually started a revolution. And they did it, in 2 years. I mean, that's how long this band was around. They did one album. They really didn't know what they were doing. They were brought together by Malcolm McLaurin, who ran a clothing shop. But the intensity of their era came out in Johnny Rotten's or Johnny Lydon's lyrics. And the music, still to this day, I can pop it in right now, and I'm moved by it. That band probably formed more bands after the fact. It formed a whole new movement I don't think any other musical group could lay claim to. They should be at least a number 4 seed in the rock. I wouldn't put them up because you still have U2, you still have Led Zeppelin, some others. You have Beatles, and it's arguable who's better, Beatles, Sex Pistols. Beatles spent almost a decade in conveying a message. Sex Pistols did it in one album and in 2 years.
That's the most compelling argument for anything I think I've ever heard.
Yeah, I can't. I don't own the Sex Pistols album. I couldn't listen to their songs, but just from hearing your argument there, I'll do whatever you say, Richard.
It's funny. As soon as he texted me when we were talking about this, and he said that, and I went out to Artie and added him to my collection, and then drove around a little bit listening to him, and I have to agree with him. I was so, I'm not gonna say I was moved by it because I've grown up in the new era of punk, with Green Day and stuff like that.
Right.
But you can absolutely, without a doubt, hear their influence in all of the punk bands that you heard